Trump breaking news. Competition for Trump's vice presidency heats up. After dominating the Republican primary in New Hampshire and the caucuses in Iowa, former President Donald Trump has solidified his position as the clear favorite to win the nomination in 2024. This has led many to wonder who he might choose as his running mate should he decide to run for president again in November. Trump defeated his lone remaining Republican opponent, Nikki Haley, a former United Nations ambassador and governor of South Carolina, 54.3% to 43.7% in New Hampshire on Tuesday. Trump beat out Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Haley in the first Republican presidential contest 8 days ago in Iowa. A short time later, DeSantis embraced Trump and declared he was ending his campaign. From 2017 to 21, Mike Pence was vice president in Trump's administration. However, he and his employer had a falling out after Pence confirmed Joe Biden's 2020 election victory, even though Biden claimed the contest had been stolen through fraud. Protesters loyal to Trump stormed the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, shouting "Hang Mike Pence" in an unsuccessful attempt to block the certification of the election results. Alongside Trump's New Hampshire triumph under his belt, British bookmakers Betfair began taking bets on who would run alongside him in 2024 if he were nominated. New York Representative Elise Stefanik was given 9-2 odds, while South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem was given 6-1. Third place went to Vivek Ramaswamy, a former GOP presidential contender, at 15-2. Ben Carson, the former housing secretary during Trump's administration, came in at October 1. Haley came in at 11-1. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott was at January 14. Several well-known political scientists who spoke with Newsweek had quite diverse opinions about Trump's potential selection. University of Dayton assistant political science professor Christopher Devine anticipated that Trump will prioritize loyalty over skill when choosing his appointee. Donald Trump should pick a running mate who is well qualified to be vice president, and president if necessary, added Devine. Voters reward presidential candidates who make reasonable choices, but punish them when they pick someone obviously unqualified. According to our research, Nikki Haley, Kristi Noem, and Tim Scott are just a few of the many competent candidates for vice president that Trump might choose from. I get the impression, though, that he will value obedience, or maybe I should say servility, above all else. Never once did Mike Pence disagree with, criticize, or distance himself from President Trump from the moment he joined the ticket until the conclusion of 2020. Even though he only declined Trump's request once, on January 6, the president saw him as an enemy. No matter how far-fetched the accusation or extreme the idea, I think Trump will choose someone who has shown they are eager to follow his lead. While qualified, Vivek Ramaswamy lacks relevant work experience in government. Perhaps a more plausible choice would be Elise Stefanik, who has extensive experience in government and even credentials from the establishment, is a blatant Trump devotee, and will say or do anything to satisfy him. American political scientist Thomas Whalen of Boston University argued that Trump should choose a running partner who can win over voters he has trouble attracting on his own. Stefanik and Scott make the most sense because they could potentially bolster him politically where he is the weakest, among suburban women voters and African American voters, said Whalen. But Stefanik seems like a bit of a radical. His cowardly capitulation to Trump has already made him the punchline of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update. He brings out a subtler side of the old Mike Pence. Ironically, Nikki Haley would be an excellent pick for vice president, but it won't happen because of their shared hatred, according to Widener University U.S. government specialist Professor J. Wesley Leckrone. Trump would likely pick someone with charisma to win over his base or someone with more moderate political leanings to give him gravitas. Consideration of Trump's desire to re-establish Republican support for his policies by selecting a moderately serious and seasoned politician, someone like Doug Burgum, will factor into his selection, he added. As an alternative, we could have someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Vivek Ramaswamy, who excite the Trump support and bring a lot of charisma and style to the ticket. He could directly appeal to independents, the very people he's having problems with, by running on a centrist platform, and the vice presidential candidate might help him solidify support from the base. In my opinion, it will be someone with a mix of flair and experience. Nobody could be more qualified than Kristi Noem. She is not a swamp dweller in Washington, D.C., because she is a governor. Additionally, she speaks for the people of the Midwest, a region conservatives refer to as flyover America. In the opinion of some other scholars, Trump may surprise everyone by choosing someone like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, or even his former opponent, Ron DeSantis, according to Heather Brown, an associate professor of public policy at City University of New York. Trump has a lot of choices, but he is unlikely to select someone who ran against him in the primaries. Someone that he can confide in, who is articulate, and who offers nothing but praise for him is probably what he's looking for. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is that person. This will probably strike you as nuts, but I think he is going to pick Ron DeSantis, explained D. Roderick Kiewit, a political science professor at the University of Iowa who takes a strongly opposing stance. By Trump's standards, the nickname he gave him, DeSanctimonious, was very moderate. While Trump was extremely accommodating and kind when DeSantis withdrew, the situation in New Hampshire may not have turned out so well for Trump had DeSantis remained in the race. Plus, I doubt many Trump backers would say anything negative about him, although DeSantis has previously stated his disapproval of being named Trump's vice president, that was then and this is now. It would put DeSantis in a position to easily lead the pack in 2028, therefore I think he would seize the opportunity, according to Widener University political science professor James E. Vike. Trump's staff is fueling rumors about his running mate to bolster his candidacy inside the GOP, and the announcement is unlikely to happen until the spring. I see the recent incitement of speculation about Trump's VP selection as an attention-seeking tease by his campaign meant to draw focus to his inevitable victory toward the GOP nomination rather than any potential competitive primary challenge, according to him. We are still in January, and the primary season will drag on till June, even though his nomination triumph appears assured following the New Hampshire primary. I predict that the campaign will continue to tease and stoke speculation about a potential running mate over the next month before the South Carolina primary, but I seriously doubt that an actual announcement of a selection will be made until much later in spring.